1970s Retail on History Talk, where we explore the people, places, and events that shaped our community. The local retail landscape changed dramatically during the 1970s, a decade where retail migrated from downtown to regional shopping centers like Kirkwood Plaza and Gateway Mall. There were some major newcomers to the retail scene during the 1970s, including Herberger's and the catalog showroom Labelle's, which became best products in the 1980s. Discount department stores in particular expanded greatly, perhaps to a saturated level, with the likes of Tempo, Kmart, and Whitemart. Target and Woolco would arrive right after the decade. Before the decade commenced, major retailers JCPenney, Sears, Montgomery Ward's, and F.W. Woolworth anchored downtown Bismarck alongside the popular local department store A.W. Lucas. All of them would vacate downtown by the decade's end. With the shift of commerce to Kirkwood and Gateway shopping centers, downtown tried to reinvent itself. Some of that reinvention came in the way of converting downtown buildings into so-called shopping malls. Chancellor Square was conceived as a way to turn downtown into a pedestrian-friendly shopping district. The former Dakota National Bank building, located at 212 North 4th Street, was converted into a shopping center intended to house up to 8 tenants, called Green Tree Square, in 1978. It lasted until about 1985 or 1986.
Workmen have been busy cutting, hammering, and shaping Green Tree Square for several months now. The fruit of that labor has become evident. A bath and kitchen shop in the square is open, and a casual wear store is expected to be ready for business by the latter part of this week.
We'll probably have a total of 5 or 6 stores here in the bottom floor, and then perhaps another 5 stores upstairs.
Aside from the 2 stores that will be open by the end of this week, what other kind of stores can we be looking for?
Right now we have a specialty shop that should be open within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then I've had a number of other people contact me about various stores, but I don't have any of those signed as yet.
The fact that someone has brought business into the downtown area is rather unique. Businesses are moving to shopping centers because of the drawing power they have, and downtown business areas are generally suffering throughout the country.
Village Square opened in 1976. It was a short-lived mini-mall concept, added to the second floor of the historic Bismarck Grocery Company warehouse. The shopping mall dissolved within 18 months. Both Kirkwood Mall and Gateway Mall opened in the 1970s, and Kirkwood began a major expansion at the end of that decade too. There were 3 other regional enclosed shopping centers planned for the 1970s that never materialized. 2 of them planned for Mandan. It's interesting to imagine how different our local retail landscape would be today had any of these attempts carried through. Setting aside that it could have split major retail across both Bismarck and Mandan, there may have been no Gateway Mall at all, or perhaps one on that site even bigger than Kirkwood. Century Mall was a proposed regional shopping center on the site of what would later become a Gateway Mall. It was announced in October 1968. That was only 1 month after Kirkwood Mall's announcement. Century Mall was to feature 3 anchor stores and 50 total tenants, contained in 600,000 to 650,000 square feet. By comparison, Kirkwood Mall's original size was only 422,000 square feet. It's interesting to contemplate the impact Century Mall would have had, given its larger size and arguably better location than Kirkwood. Denver-based Century 21 Corporation was the developer behind the proposed $11 million shopping center, which was expected to open in 1970. Several tenants who would later occupy Gateway Mall were attached to the project, including White Drug, Maurice's, and Orange Julius, as was a movie theater. Century Mall was more than just a concept. Major milestones were achieved towards its construction. including platting the development and outlining streets. In fact, a classified advertisement was placed in the Bismarck Tribune recruiting a manager for Orange Julius's upcoming Century Mall location in May 1969. In Bismarck, Century 21 hadn't formally purchased land as of July 1969, and no further plans were ever announced beyond 1970. By 1973, the Cavani family, owners of the land, proceeded with new development efforts, including replatting and annexation. Gateway Mall would ultimately be developed instead, albeit at a significantly reduced footprint, officially opening in September 1979. Sunset Terrace Plaza was announced on July 18, 1974. It was to be a fully enclosed regional shopping center located near Mandan's Sunset Drive interchange, at a size of roughly 84,000 square feet, consisting of 2 levels, for an estimated cost between $1.6 and $3 million. Efforts to develop Sunset Terrace Plaza continued until at least 1982. Terra Valley, a real estate developer, announced plans for a 160,000 square foot shopping center northeast of the Sunset Drive interchange. A SuperValu and almost 73,000 square foot Kmart were planned as anchors.
The Kmart Corporation has signed a lease with Terra Valley Incorporated for a department store a little smaller than Bismarck. It will be the 14th Kmart in the state. Construction is set to start yet this season. The rest of the shopping center will contain 20 to 30 shops.
The project ceased in 1983 after federal funding was rejected and both anchor tenants backed out. Today, this is the site of Mandan's Walmart.
I believe that this legislation is so clear that the project itself fails to qualify on its face.
As I see it right now, we're back to square one, nothing. And we'll have to wait on this project until future development warrants in a larger scale, a bigger assessed area than what we have right today.
And what does the board's decision mean for the future of the Terra Valley Shopping Center? Dave Myers, the president of the shopping center, says without the road and interchange renovations, there will be no shopping center.
Kmart was one of the first businesses to establish itself north of Interstate 94 along the State Street corridor and helped ignite neighboring development. Kmart was Bismarck's second modern-day discount department store, after Northbrook's much smaller Tempo opened in 1963. After the closure of Tempo in 1976, Kmart would be the city's sole retailer of its type for 3 years, until the opening of White Mart. Kmart opened to great fanfare at 10 a.m. on October 7, 1971. It was North Dakota's 4th Kmart store and the 456th in the nation. By 1982, there were 13 operating Kmarts in North Dakota, with some cities like Minot and Fargo having 2. Initially referred to as Kmart Shopping Center, the building was larger than the entire Northbrook Mall, and roughly 1/4 the original size of Kirkwood Mall. The center consisted of the 84,000 square foot namesake department store, an auto center operated by Penske from 1995 until 2002, and a 20,000 square foot Kmart food store operated by National Tea, renamed National Foods in 1974. Dan SuperValu took occupancy of the grocery store in 1975, operating it as Century SuperValu, where it remained until relocating into its own freestanding store across the street in 1981, which is today's Hobby Lobby. Kmart eventually expanded into the grocery space, consuming the entire building, in turn making it one of the largest traditional Kmart stores in the nation. In addition to housing separate grocery and department stores, it was called a shopping center due to the company's practice of leasing some of its departments to third-party companies at the time. The Bismarck Kmart remodeled significantly in 1991, with another remodel in 1996 when it adopted the Big Kmart format. It only received minor updates henceforth, as the company slipped into its first bankruptcy in 2001. Kmart closed its Bismarck store in 2019. At the time of making this video, there remain only 2 Kmarts in existence. Another unique retail concept arriving that decade was that of the Labelle catalog showroom at 1026 East Bismarck Expressway. Minnesota-based Modern Merchandising established the store in August 1979. It was the company's second North Dakota showroom after Fargo. Richmond, Virginia-based Best Products purchased Labelle's and its parent company in 1982. The local showroom was rebranded as Best in July 1987, at which time the store underwent minor renovation. The retail showroom itself accounted for roughly 1/3 of the 65,000 square foot building. The remaining space was dedicated to a warehouse storage. At Christmas time, a portion of its warehouse was converted into a large toy department. Space was also set aside for a restaurant. However, none apparently ever opened. The catalog showroom was a unique retail catalog hybrid. Best, and its Labelle's predecessor, operated as a traditional catalog mail-order retailer before expanding its business model to include retail showrooms that blended a self-service department store format, like you would see with most other retail stores, with warehouse-style custom ordering. Its self-service departments included toys, health and beauty, and sports. Most big-ticket items, such as electronics and furniture, were purchased through an order request, at which point the product was either retrieved on-site by store personnel from the warehouse or shipped directly through its catalog. At its height, Best was one of the nation's largest retailers, with locations in 23 states. However, Best was unable to adapt to changing consumer habits. The company filed for bankruptcy protection twice, once in 1991 and again in 1996. In the months following its second bankruptcy, the company shuttered 89 of its 169 showrooms and 3 of its 4 distribution centers. At the time, North Dakota had 2 showrooms in Bismarck and Grand Forks. Both were listed on the closing list. Fargo's showroom closed the year prior. The company folded in 1997. Its former showroom now houses Office Depot and Big Lots. I invite you to check out my 2 Bismarck history books. They are available to purchase on Amazon and select local bookstores. Copies are also available at the Bismarck Public Library. Visit bismarckbook.com for more information. That was our look at 1970s retail. Next, we'll continue this series with a look at Kirkwood Mall. Is there a local history topic you'd like to be featured? Email historytalk@kfyrtv.com.